magazine frame and look around?
Nah.
This is sick. I love this.
Yeah.
Dope.
It's a cool
Dope
shot.
litness.
You ready?
Yeah, you good, Eric? Hit it.
The music in this video and the music used in the short film came from today's sponsor, MusicBed. If you have not seen the film, click the link in my description to go to Colin's YouTube channel to see the film, and then head back over here to see how we actually created this project.
So we'll start with a wide shot. See how it goes.
Feel the
Go from there.
Sounds great. You tend to hear people say, the only way you're going to be able to do the work you want to be doing is to create it yourself. So that's what we did. Colin Tunney, a phenomenal director who I have been friends with for years now, we have worked on a ton of projects together. I think I remember texting Colin one day asking if he was open to doing a passion project, if he had any scripts or if he had any ideas or anything that he just wanted to get done. And he sent me a bunch of different treatments, and I read the one that said puzzle pieces. As soon as I read it, it resonated with me instantly. I felt the sense of relatability, and I felt that this was something that I could picture visually in my head. And also this fact that I wanted to shoot whatever we were doing on film, on 16mm. So when reading the script and seeing the visual references that he put in there, a lot of it lended really well to the idea of shooting on film. Puzzle Pieces is a film with a message of what do you want to be when you grow up. And the vision for this project included shooting a bunch of random people in various different settings in a relatable kind of way. For example, we had someone in a boxing ring. We had somebody fighting with their significant other. We had somebody painting or, drawing. We had people at a party. We had somebody skating with their friends, but also maybe feeling distant from their friends. Those are just some examples of different scenes and different moods and emotions that we wanted to kind of evoke within each of these different kind of vignettes that we were creating. All of these different vignettes we felt that had a purpose, we felt that they were relatable to people, and we wanted to give a sense of kind of nostalgia, or kind of like you watch this and you're like, oh, I was there, I've been there, I've done that thing. Reading the treatment, we didn't necessarily have the script for the voiceover yet, but when Colin wrote the voiceover and the script for it, and kind of seeing that matched with the treatment and what we were kind of looking to be shooting with the different vignettes, it really resonated with me and how I thought it could also resonate with people our age. I tend to see that a lot of people our age struggle with a sense of identity or a sense of purpose and finding themselves. They might feel lost. They might feel like they haven't found their thing yet. So I think that the message of this film is essentially just understanding that whatever you're doing in your life, whatever moment you're in, whatever experience that you're experiencing is a puzzle piece that one day you will put together to hopefully create that finished puzzle. And each puzzle piece has its purpose, it has its meaning in your life. You might not see it yet, but that's what it's for.
Look to the bees, and then go back to where you were just looking. Cool. Ellie wants to play so bad.
I know.
Feel good? Yeah, that feels great, dude. Yeah, we'll get that in a separate shot, I think. Might as well do that, please.
Down there, and then come this way.
It's cool with me, dude. You're directing the scene, so
Sweet.
tell me what to do.
Sounds great.
You guys good to do another?
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
all done.
I'll start wide and then I'll push in.
Sounds good.
Fun.
Let me know when you're set.
Camera set.
All right, you guys are fighting
No.
about Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy's a friend. Blah, 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 blah.
That's actually fun.
Same cut. That was perfect. That's awesome. That's like, I love that. When you bring it up, it feels very real. Get your reaction.
The thing about film is like almost everything scares the crap out of me. I don't even know what we shot the past 3 days, if it worked or not. Gotta get developed. So, everything scares me. Yeah, it is a scary medium, honestly. When Colin and I decided that this was going to be the project that we were going to start shooting, in pre-production, one of the first things that we wanted to do was ensure that we were setting the tone and mood before we even started shooting. Obviously, shooting on film, you don't have as many takes, and because of the different vignettes, we wanted to create a sort of style, a sort of tone going into it that we knew was kind of our language. And the way for us to do that was setting the tone with music. Because the short film is only driven narratively by the voiceover, there isn't individual scenes with dialogue. The music needed to have an emotion that drove it just as much. So to help ensure that we were setting the right tone and emotion, we browsed through MusicBed to get a feeling of what we thought the film might feel like. We already knew going in that the music and song that we selected needed to be very simple. We couldn't have a song that was complex, that had a high quantity of instruments, that had a ton of different things going on, because it would combat with the voiceover. So we knew going in that the tone was going to be ambient, it was going to be meditative. For me, I tend to love this style anyway. A lot of the videos that I create tend to be that sort of meditative, calm presence. And I knew instantly that once we decided on that, MusicBed would have a ton of different options for us to choose from. After going through some songs, we had a few that we selected that we really loved. By finding these songs early, we really set ourselves up for success into production to understand the mood and tone that we were going for. We ended up landing on a song called Moons Apart by Anne Annie. And the reason we loved this song was really on the initial listen. We both had a feeling like, oh wow, I can definitely picture this with the voiceover, reading the script, hearing the song, and then kind of just picturing the visuals behind it. This song just felt right to us instantly. After hearing the final edit and seeing how the song worked with the voiceover, the shots, the sound effects, the color grade, it felt like the first time I listened to it. It felt natural, it felt perfect, and it felt like it was the right choice for this project. If you're a creator looking for music to resonate and connect with your audience, I cannot recommend MusicBed enough. Make the switch and sign up using the link in my description below. To say that the logistics of this film was difficult is quite an understatement. This was a producing feat, not just an artist accomplishment to be able to create a film like this. This, for Colin and I, was a producing feat to be able to actually get this off the ground and have a completed project at the end of it. So in order for this to happen, we had to organize a ton of different people in all different locations between New Jersey and New York City, with a ton of different schedules, and each of these people not knowing that anyone else is being filmed and nobody knows who's being filmed. So there's no correlation between who can schedule what between their schedule and this person. So everybody was just on their own world, and Colin and I had to organize everybody. So there was a ton of back and forth that we had to kind of figure out, let alone one of the scenes, somebody dropped out, I think, an hour or two before we were filming, which isn't fun, but at the end of the day, we figured it out. And, you know, looking back on it, it was definitely a little stressful. It was a little uneasy knowing that the project had this sort of unconventional, not really super organized approach, which is a little nerve-wracking for me because I tend to be very organized. I tend to like structure. I tend to like that sort of feeling, and there was a moment where I just had to let go. I had to understand that the project that we're shooting does not require this level of organization that I normally want to have. Sometimes you need to have that spontaneity. Sometimes you need to feel free, and I just recognized that this is that project for me, where I could just be free. I could just be a creator. I could be an artist. I could just laugh, have a good time with my friends, and shoot something that I'm grateful to have an opportunity to shoot something that I'm really passionate about, and also have it be on film. Working together with Colin, who he loves that spontaneity. We worked really well together to kind of balance each other out.
I'm just gonna show you.
For sure. I do that sort of stuff sometimes when I'm making clothes. I literally just have like one here.
Yeah, now like
I had to turn the lights on in the garage here.
It's so far away that it's like you couldn't tell if you're actually smoking or not. So light it for like light to go in your face, but don't worry about it. Don't smoke it.
I still love the process of shooting on 16mm film. Granted, it's only my second time, but I love it just a little bit more than I did the first time. After shooting that practice round that I did a few weeks prior to the shoot, I felt a ton more confident in my ability as a shooter, as a loader, and be able to nail my exposure, be able to focus properly, make sure that everything was looking as good as it possibly could, granted that I wouldn't be able to see it until it's developed. I can confidently say, looking back at the footage, that I think I nailed almost 90-95% of the footage in the exposure and in the way that I wanted to. There are some scenes where maybe I underexposed a little bit, but I think that overall, I'm really proud of my ability to kind of adapt and learn and force myself to try something new, challenge myself. And I think that shooting on film for this project only served it the best way possible. I think this film did not need to be shot on a Venice. It did not need the highest quality digital camera. It needed to feel raw, it needed to feel gritty, it needed to feel organic, and like we were just, that spontaneity, you wanted to kind of just have that feeling while you're shooting it come across in the film, and I think it does. Film, it requires patience, it requires you to be focused and intentional, even in scenarios where you're being spontaneous and you don't really have control of the lighting everywhere, you don't have control of everything. But what you do have control is yourself as a DP, as a cinematographer, as a filmmaker. Are your fundamentals in order? Are you composing in a way that is the best way for the location? Are you maximizing the light that you're given in this location? Are you choosing a right lens that maybe makes sense for this scene? So there are certain things in terms of fundamentals as a DP that you could still lean onto to make sure that you're getting the best quality image for the story. So we shot this on the Bolex SBM Super 16 camera with a set of Zeiss Tevadon lenses ranging from 11mm to 50, and we also opted for a specialty lens, which was the Century 3.5mm lens, this was the craziest lens I think I've ever seen. But the cool thing about this lens, which was weird at first, was it doesn't have a focus ring. You can't focus. Everything's technically in focus because of how wide it is. Granted, the center of the lens is more in focus than the outside, so the fall off is quite drastic in some settings, and looking back at the footage, maybe we should have used it a little bit less, but it was definitely a unique look that I think was beneficial for certain scenes where we were really tight, but it also created a really unique look that you otherwise wouldn't have. But my favorite lens was the 11mm. I think that this lens was wide enough for it to be still that sort of standard look without kind of the vignetting or the bowing within the edges, and you could focus, you could set your aperture a little bit faster, and I just think the 11 was a really solid lens for us. For film, we shot 9 rolls total, 6 rolls of 250D, 5 rolls of 500T, and the 100-foot spools. The difficult part about that is planning out what film stock you're going to use in a given location in a given scene. Because we were changing so much and each of these were its own individual vignettes, I had to kind of look forward and be like, okay, I have this scene now. Does this speak to daylight or tungsten? Okay, this is tungsten, but the next scene after that is daylight. But I can't do daylight in this one. I have to do tungsten over there. So there was a lot of back and forth, but in certain scenarios where I had to shoot tungsten in daylight, I just resulted in putting an orange filter to help combat the white balance and make sure that it was a bit more neutral. So when color grading, it wasn't just all blue. So all in all, I think this project is really fun, really creative, really just kind of put me out of my comfort zone and forced me to try things that I normally wouldn't have. It allowed me to be spontaneous. And it was also another opportunity for me to collaborate with Colin on a deeper level, not just director DP, but on a producing level, also on the editing level, on the sound design and color. We really worked together seamlessly throughout this entire project, and it was really great to be able to dig deeper into our relationship there, and also just be able to shoot and work with so many different people as a creative, not just filmmaker, anyone in the creative space. Sometimes you need to have moments where you're creating for fun. You need to create for the sense of freedom and curiosity and spontaneity without the pressure of a client or a deadline. Surround yourself with a few friends that make you smile, that make you laugh, that push you out of your comfort zone, that want to challenge you, and that also want to try new things, and that also are looking for that moment of curiosity and spontaneity in their work as well. Smile, laugh, make mistakes, nail the shot that you were nervous about. Stretch your comfort zone by trying something new. By surrounding yourself with this type of environment, you never know what you're going to find out about yourself. Allow yourself to be a true creative. And again, if you haven't seen the film and you want to, head over to Colin's YouTube channel with the link in my description to see the entire short film. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you learned a little bit. Hopefully you felt inspired to go out and create something for yourself. I'll see you next time. Peace out.